All right, folks, so Garmin's vivoactive series is back with this right here. So this is the new vivoactive 5. So Garmin's vivoactive series has been super popular over the years as fitness-focused wearables with a good blend of smartwatch features, lots of health features, as well as plenty of activity tracking, like being able to track lots of different kinds of sports. But the vivoactive lineup sort of got overshadowed by Garmin's more recent Venu series line of smartwatches, which is basically a vivoactive with an AMOLED display. And Garmin's changed things up where now the vivoactive 5 gets that same AMOLED display treatment, and you can very much think of the vivoactive 5 as part of Garmin's Venu lineup. So the vivoactive 5 basically sits right in between their entry-level Venu SQ2 and their Venu 2, and it runs $299. And I think this hits a really good price point, especially considering the features that it has. And it actually comes with many of the new features that were just introduced with Garmin's Venu 3. So with the vivoactive 5, it comes in one size option and has a 42mm case, which is around 11mm thick. And this is how it looks on my 185mm circumference wrist. And for comparison, this is how it looks beside the Venu SQ2 as well as the Venu 3, which actually comes in two different sizes. The vivoactive 5 comes with a 1.2-inch AMOLED display with 390 by 390 pixels, which is protected by Gorilla Glass 3. So it's basically the same display that's found on their Venu 3S. And when it comes to the bezel, the vivoactive 5 has an aluminum bezel, whereas the Venu 2 and the Venu 3 use a stainless steel bezel. Previous vivoactives like the vivoactive 3 and the 4 use memory and pixel or transflective displays, which have some good things going for them, like extremely good readability outdoors in bright sunlight, as well as being efficient when it comes to battery life. AMOLED displays, on the other hand, similar to what you'd find on a smartphone, these displays have super bright colors and lots of contrast, but they also consume more power than a transflected display. But Garmin's proven with their Venu series line of watches, as well as a whole bunch of other watches, that they're able to deliver quite decent battery life with the way that they've optimized these displays. So with something like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch, those watches typically only get around 1 to 3 days before you have to recharge them. But with the vivoactive 5, you can get anywhere from 4 days all the way up to over a week of battery life. And these displays also get plenty bright enough outdoors, so there's not really an issue there either. So to use the vivoactive 5, it has a touchscreen along with a 2-button layout. So the touchscreen works just like any other touchscreen, and the responsiveness is really good, where it's nice and predictable with taps, touches, and swipes. And then for the buttons, you'll use this upper right-hand button to access all your workout profiles. And then from here, you'll just tap on one of those workouts and then press that button again to start the workout. And then you can press it again to pause the workout. From here, you can either resume your workout with that upper right-hand key, or you can save your workout down here or discard it up here. And then the lower right-hand button, this basically acts as a back key throughout the interface to go back a screen, but it also works during workouts to mark a lap. Oh, and then one more thing related to the display is that it also comes with a new font size option where you can choose between 2 different font sizes, something that was just introduced with their Venu 3. And then for its health and activity tracking features, it tracks tons of health and activity metrics like your steps, your calories burned, your heart rate, respiration rate, blood oxygen saturation levels, your stress levels, as well as intensity minutes, which is basically how much time you're spending doing vigorous activity. But it also comes with some new features that just came out with their Venu 3. So it has Garmin's body battery feature. So what this does is that it gives you an estimate of your energy levels throughout the day on a scale of 1 to 100 based on sleep, activities, as well as rest during the day. But a big enhancement they made that just came out with their Venu 3 is that they're now actually listing out all the different factors specifically. Like on the chart, you can actually see different activities during the day and how they impacted your energy levels. And then they also have a list of those events where it gives you how each activity is either draining or recharging your body battery. The vivoactive 5 has sleep tracking, and it also can track your sleep stages throughout the night, just like nearly all of Garmin's other wearables, but it now also comes with the ability to track naps. And there's really nothing that you have to do here. All you do is just go take a cat nap and it automatically tracks it. Simple as that. But there is also a manual way that you can track a nap if you want to, which also adds an alarm sort of function so you don't accidentally sleep through an important meeting or something like that. So what you can do here to manually track your nap is you can go to the controls menu by long pressing the upper right hand button and then go into sleep mode. And then what it'll do here is ask if you want to set a nap timer. And then here you can track your nap and have an alarm clock all at the same time. And along with the ability to track naps, the vivoactive 5 also comes with Garmin's new sleep coach feature, which basically suggests how much sleep would be optimal for your next night's sleep, based on your previous night's sleep, your activities during the day, your heart rate variability status, as well as naps taken. And the baseline sleep recommendation, by the way, is based on your age, and then it uses those other factors to assess whether you need more sleep or less sleep than normal. So basically, if you take a nap, you may need less sleep tonight. If you had a hard workout, you may need more time to recover. And related to that, the vivoactive 5 also comes with their HRV status as well as a recovery time advisor features. And to be honest with you, I'm actually quite surprised they included these with the vivoactive 5 because these features were originally only introduced on Garmin's higher end wearables. So HRV status is your heart rate variability status. So heart rate variability is different than your heart rate. Your heart rate is how many times your heart beats per minute, but heart rate variability is the difference in time in between each beat. So a higher HRV value can indicate better recovery and overall better health. And then a lower HRV could mean that you're either overtraining, you may be sick, or it could be indicating some other sort of health issue. Those are sort of generalizations though, but I'll have an article listed down in the description below where you can read up more about it. But basically, it's a metric that athletes have been using for quite some time now to get engaged on whether they're ready for training or not and how well they've recovered. And then another new feature related to recovery is that the vivoactive 5 also comes with a recovery time advisor, which gives you an idea of how much time it'll take for you to be fully recovered based on your sleep and activities. And it's not like don't do anything for like 50 hours or anything like that. It's basically just giving you the time here to be fully recovered, like maybe for something like a race day or something like that. And then the vivoactive 5 also comes with Garmin's morning report feature. So what this does is that it's basically a screen that pops up first thing in the morning, which delivers you information that you'd likely want to see when you wake up, like your body battery, your sleep quality, your recovery time, your HRV status, and even events that you have in your calendar for the day. And you also can customize this to your liking in the settings on what kind of information you want it to display. And then also at the end of your day, around 2 hours before you go to bed, they also have their daily summary feature, which basically gives you this kind of, well, summary of your day. Like on this day, it was a workout day, and it reminds me that it's probably a good idea to start winding down to focus on recovery. And then the vivoactive 5 also comes with Garmin's new features for wheelchair users. So it has a wheelchair mode that you can enable where it tracks specific metrics that may be important for wheelchair users, like daily pushes, you can receive weight shift alerts, and there's also wheelchair specific sports apps and workouts. And then moving on to the more smartwatch related features, the vivoactive 5 is compatible with both iPhones as well as Android phones, where you'll be able to get notifications for texts, calls, as well as from all your apps. And you can also get weather information that's synced from your phone, and you can also view calendar events. The text and call experience does differ a bit though, depending on whether you're on an iPhone or an Android phone. And this actually has nothing to do with Garmin and more to do with Apple and Android. So with either kind of phone, you can receive notifications for text. So if you're on an iPhone, you can view those notifications and then you can just go ahead and clear them out. But you actually can't reply. And this has to do with Apple not allowing text reply functionality with iMessage with any watch that's not an Apple Watch. However, if you're on an Android phone, you will be able to reply with quick responses, and you can actually customize these responses as well from the Garmin Connect smartphone app. But in addition to that, the vivoactive 5 also comes with a new on-screen keyboard. Again, something that was just introduced with the Venu 3, where you can actually type out a custom message. And then one more thing with an Android phone that you probably just saw is that you'll also be able to view photos that are sent to you directly on the watch itself. And then when it comes to calls, the experience is similar for the most part between an iPhone or an Android phone, where you can choose to answer or decline a call from the watch. But if you answer the call, you'll be speaking on the phone and not the watch itself because it doesn't have a built-in microphone and speaker. However, if you're on an Android phone, when you choose to decline a call, you can also reply with a text at the same time. And the vivoactive 5 also does come with the ability to store music on the watch itself for listening using a pair of Bluetooth headphones during a workout. And you can sync music from popular streaming services like Spotify, Deezer, as well as Amazon Music. So this works great for all of you out there who want to go out for a run or a ride without necessarily having to bring your phone with you. In addition to that, you also can control the music that's playing on your phone. Oh, and then one last thing in regards to smartwatch features is that the vivoactive 5 also does have Garmin Pay for contactless payments. And then when it comes to battery life, the vivoactive 5 can get up to 11 days of battery life just using it as a smartwatch if you're not using the always-on display. And then if you enable the always-on display, it's more in the neighborhood of like 4 to 5 days. Now, battery life will depend on other factors too, such as how many outdoor activities that you record, as well as if you enable or disable the SpO2 sensor. And for my testing, I was using the always-on display mode, I was using the blood oxygen saturation level tracking for sleep, and then I was recording an average of about an hour-long outdoor activity per day. And with that sort of usage, I was getting about almost 4 days out of it. But again, your battery life may vary depending on how you use it. And then for outdoor activity tracking specifically, you can get up to 17 hours using their highest accuracy all systems mode, and then up to 20 hours using their GPS only mode. Using music during activities though will have a big impact on battery life. So if you do happen to have your phone with you, it's just best to play music from your phone versus your watch. And then on the sports and fitness side of things, the vivoactive 5 has about 30 sport profiles to choose from, including running, both indoors and outdoors, cycling, both indoors and outdoors as well, plenty of gym profiles, including strength training, high intensity interval training, as well as the elliptical. It has yoga, it has Pilates, it has Garmin's new meditation profile, it has rowing, outdoor recreation profiles like stand-up paddleboarding, skateboarding, skiing, and snowboarding, and it also has tennis and pickleball. And it also comes with a pool swimming profile, which has been found on previous vivoactive watches from years past, but a big new addition to the vivoactive lineup is open water swimming with the vivoactive 5. And as you can imagine, you can track all the different kinds of metrics that you likely want to get for those kind of activities. So with stuff like running outside, you'll get your total distance and time, your pace, your heart rate, time spent in different heart rate zones, as well as calories burned. But yet another new feature that you'll get with the vivoactive 5 is a new workout benefits summary. So what this does is that it basically gives you an idea of how each specific type of workout is impacting your fitness. So like on this run, since I was hitting some higher heart rate zones, I was improving my VO2 max. And then here's some other examples of some other types of workouts that I did with different kinds of workout benefits, just so you can get an idea of what you can expect. Oh, and then one more thing too is that we sort of already saw this with the body battery factors earlier, is that each workout also has a specific value of how it affected your body battery. Oh, and then one more thing before we get into the actual accuracy is that the vivoactive 5 also will provide you with your VO2 max for running as well as your fitness age, which basically is a slightly more relatable figure in regards to your actual fitness level. So when it comes to accuracy for tracking outdoor sports, the vivoactive 5 comes with onboard GPS or a built-in satellite chipset where you can go track your outdoor activities without having to have your phone with you. So with this, you could basically access 5 different satellite systems at one time, which will allow you to collect speed, distance, and pace during your activity. And this is the same technology that's found on their higher-end Venu 3. And in terms of how accurate it is, it performed extremely well for me. So here's a run that I did where the vivoactive 5 was basically spot on with all the other devices. Very good stuff. And if we take a look at the finer detail of the GPS tracks, good stuff here as well. It's nice and solid in all the straight sections, and it also tracks all these tight corners and curves nicely. And then for a longer example, here's a road ride, and again, great stuff out of the vivoactive 5. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here is that the vivoactive 5 doesn't have a built-in altimeter, so you won't be able to actually see your elevation gain in real time during an activity. So this is where it differs from the Venu 3, which does have an altimeter. However, it still will provide your total elevation gain after you save your activity. And how it does is that it basically uses the elevation data that Garmin has from their map data to figure out your total elevation gain after you've uploaded your activity. And then for the finer detail of the GPS tracks on that ride, again, very good stuff out of the vivoactive 5. Nice and solid in the straight sections and quite good on all the corners and curves. But I also took the vivoactive 5 mountain biking, so this is going to be a harder test because there's a lot of switchbacks as well as a lot of heavy tree cover, which could impact GPS performance. But the vivoactive 5, again, did great here. And if we take a look at the GPS tracks, the vivoactive 5 was very solid, and we're actually comparing it to other devices that have more powerful dual-band satellite chipsets. In fact, it did even better in some situations than some of the other devices. So just like its bigger brother, the Venu 3, which uses the exact same single frequency satellite chipset, the vivoactive 5 performs extremely well. So I've said it before in some of my other videos that it's not just about having a dual band satellite chipset that will make a watch more accurate. It's actually much more than that, like the antenna design. And we can see that here where the vivoactive 5 performs really well. So when it comes to heart rate accuracy, the vivoactive 5 uses Garmin's 4th generation Elevate heart rate sensor, and this sensor does a good job with most cardio-based activities like running and cycling. So for instance, like this indoor bike ride right here, rock solid. And then for another example, on this ride, I was doing some intervals with rapid changes in heart rate, and it's good to go as well. And then moving on to some road biking, I'm seeing some very good results here as well. And with this kind of activity, it's actually a little more challenging activity for a wrist-based optical heart rate sensor to track accurately because these sensors can get affected by things like vibrations from the handlebars, as well as bumps in the road, which can sometimes make a watch bounce around in your wrist. But the vivoactive 5 did a good job here. There was a spot right here where I read around 6 beats per minute high for a moment, but other than that, it did great. And then when it comes to running, the vivoactive 5 did a decent job, but not quite as accurate as some of those other examples. Like on this run here, we see that on the majority of the run, it was spot on, but there was this moment right here where it wandered a little bit and read about 5 to 6 beats per minute high. Interestingly, the arm-based optical heart rate sensor I was wearing also wandered right there, so not sure if those were actually related. But either way though, after that, the vivoactive 5 was great for the rest of the run. And then when it comes to mountain biking, this is an activity that's notoriously hard for wrist-based optical heart rate sensors to track accurately, and that's mainly due to the hard gripping onto the handlebars, as well as all the rough terrain, which can make a watch bounce around, but way more than road biking. But the vivoactive 5 did a phenomenal job here on this ride. Like, this is a very good result. We do see a couple little blips here and there, but those were incredibly minor and it corrected itself very quickly. This was a great result. But for activities like weight training, this is where Garmin's 4th generation elevate heart rate sensor can have some challenges. Like on this workout, what you can see is that it read a bit high in some of these sets, and then also had a little drop right here. On these high intensity intervals at the end, it did a good job for the most part, but there was a spot right here where it wasn't quite in line. So overall, this sensor will do well for most of those steady state cardio workouts, but may not do as well for activities like weight training and high intensity interval training. And that's where Garmin's 5th generation elevate heart rate sensor will do a better job, and that's a sensor that they include with their recent Venu 3. But even so, all wrist-based heart rate sensors can have issues with weight training and high-intensity interval training. And I'm talking about even with the most accurate sensors out there. And if you want the best accuracy possible for those kinds of activities, it's best to use an external heart rate strap. And the nice thing is the vivoactive 5 does have the ability to pair to those. And I'll have a video down in the description below with some straps that I can recommend. Now, for how the vivoactive 5 differs from the recently released Venu 3, there's a few main areas. So the Venu 3 has a built-in microphone and speaker for accessing your voice assistant on your phone. And you can also use it to speak on the watch itself for calls, as long as your phone is in range. And then another difference is that the Venu 3 uses Garmin's 5th generation heart rate sensor versus the 4th generation sensor on the vivoactive 5. The 4th generation sensor, as we just saw, does a good job at more of those cardio-based activities, where the 5th generation sensor does a better job with stuff like weight training as well as high-intensity interval training. Another difference, though, is that the Venu 3 does appear to have the hardware capable of recording an ECG. So I do want to make it super clear, though, that Garmin hasn't said themselves either way whether ECG is coming or not with the Venu 3. All I'm saying is that the hardware appears to be there, but it's not really up to them. A feature like ECG requires regulatory approval. However, I can confirm, though, that the vivoactive 5 doesn't have the hardware needed to record an ECG. And then when it comes to external sensors, the vivoactive 5 can pair to a host of external sensors, but the Venu 3 also can to a few more, including cycling power meters. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, the Venu 3 also has an altimeter, where the vivoactive 5 does not. And it really only makes a difference in two main areas. So the Venu 3 can track your floors climbed throughout the day, and then you can also track your elevation gain in real time during your activity. Now, there are some other differences as well, but those are just kind of the main differences. But let me know in the comments section down below whether you'd like to see an in-depth comparison of the Venu 3 versus the vivoactive 5. But still, the vivoactive 5 packs in a lot of features for the money, and I think it hits a very nice sweet spot where it has many of the features that someone would want in a fitness-focused smartwatch, like tons of health features. It can track plenty of different kinds of sports, and it even packs in some of those features that I wasn't expecting, like HRV status as well as open water swimming. Anyhow, that's everything new with the new vivoactive 5. If you have any questions about it that I didn't cover in this video, just go ahead and drop a comment down in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer those. And if you found the information in this video useful, do me a favor and also hit that like button, and also subscribe to the channel for plenty more sports tech videos that are right around the corner. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.